Hey, have you ever thought to yourself when you're trying to figure out what to do in a particular situation or where to go, that, if God would just open up a door for me and make it easy, then I'll know exactly where I need to go. Today's verse might be for you. I want to read here out of Genesis 32. Jacob has been preparing to. He's left Laban. He's going to meet his brother Esau. Now remember, last time when he left Esau, Esau wanted to kill him, and so he's, I think, starting to realize what he's gotten himself into. He's like, oh my gosh. He's also heard from his spies that Esau is coming to meet him, and it looks like Esau has an army with him too. So I think he's really starting to stress out about what's going on. And so I'm going to pick up here in 32, and then we'll come back and talk about it a little bit. Starting 32:22. That night Jacob got up and took his 2 wives, his 2 maidservants, his 11 sons, and crossed the ford of the Jabbok. After he had sent them across the stream, he sent over all his possessions. So Jacob was left alone, and a man wrestled with him till daybreak. When the man saw that he could not overpower him, he touched the socket of Jacob's hip, so that his left hip was wrenched. So that his hip was wrenched as he wrestled with the man. Then the man said, "Let me go, for it is daybreak." But Jacob replied, "I will not let you go unless you bless me." The man asked him, "What is your name?" "Jacob," he answered. Then the man said, "Your name will no longer be Jacob, but Israel, because you have struggled with God and with men and have overcome." So we see here in a situation where Jacob could have very easily done what he has done multiple times in the past. He's got this scary thing coming up here. Obviously, he has right to have fear, and yet we see him rise to the occasion here. We see him say, "All right, I need some time alone with God. I need to just be alone and be able to contemplate that." And we see him with this weird story of him wrestling with God. I mean, it sounds like he literally is wrestling with God. I just see him with this concept of struggling, and I think to myself, in America, it seems like we have this idea that, like a prosperity gospel thing, that God's going to just open it up and make everything easy for us. You don't see that in this story. You see in this story where God is going to allow him to struggle and to work through these things. And it's almost as if the struggle is what transforms him, what changes him. And we see Jacob. Jacob has the opportunity. When this man showed up, Jacob could have run away. When they're wrestling, the man says, "Let me go." Obviously, he's going to leave, and so Jacob could have let him go, but he didn't. Throughout the struggle, he continued to cling to the man. And I think what God is trying to teach us is that even in times like that, where we're struggling, as long as we continue to cling to God, that he's going to reward that. It doesn't mean it's going to be easy, but he's going to reward that. He is going to bless him. And just like Jacob, what we see is that, he's got this dislocated hip and he limps afterwards. That's true for us too. When we go through these things, it's not going to be like the movies where everything is just automatically fixed and you're like magically better. When you go through those struggles, you're going to have scars. You are going to have hurts and things that you will carry with you, because it's those struggles that change us and grow us and shape us into the people that God is trying to change us into. So don't fall into the prosperity gospel thinking of, God wants us to have all these wonderful magical things and that you're never going to have hard things in your life.